for other fandoms. I think Young Wizards is singular. I think there is no other fandom out there, no other collection of people who is like these people who are right here in this room, which is really, really cool. So I kind of wanted to celebrate it because I think it's worth celebrating. And I wanted to see if other people felt the same way. Because, like, I'm seeing one person nodding very adamantly, and I love that. Thank you so much. Because, like, I love you guys. We're going to get sappy right off the bat here. And I don't know if it's because of the books, and that's definitely something we're going to talk about. I don't know if it's just coincidence. I don't know if I'm biased because of how much I love the books. But I really do think that there is a different vibe here than we've got going on in other things. Because you hear a lot about, like, your fave is problematic. And, like, okay, there's always the seedy, like, underside of a fandom where you don't get too far into that side because people just want to be mean. And
Supernatural.
yeah. Honestly, yeah. Like, there have been entire Supernatural, where I used to love it, and I, like, watched the show religiously and everything, and then the more I got into it, the more I was like, I don't want to be around these people, and I don't want to have to deal with all of this drama, whereas I never felt that way. And there's got to be something going on here. So I'm hoping that together we can figure out what that thing is, maybe, like, replicate it, and then, like, surround the world with it, because I think we need that. So I'm going to introduce our panelists. So first of all, we've got Emma here. Emma is the Words Come Alive on Tumblr. She was also 96 Bookworms on the forums. So if you recognize any of those, right? I know. So, you know, there you go. We also have Mark. I don't know if you know him. He's like a new So, yeah, but he's pretty cool. We have Kathy, who, were you on the forums at all?
I was on Usenet way back.
Yeah, wow. So she predates everything. Like, she was on Usenet, which is amazing.
Oh my God.
There you go, exactly. Yeah, and then we also have another Mark down here. Were you on the forums?
Usenet forums, I'm just going to bounce around.
Okay, yeah, so yeah. We've got the whole spread here. And then there's you guys. And you guys also have your own fandom experiences. So the way this is going to work is I have these panelists up here. They're no more qualified to speak on their fandom experience than you guys are, and you are welcome to put your hand up at any time and be like, I disagree, or like, I had a different experience than you, I want to talk about it, and I would love that. The only reason they're up here is because I wanted to try to get a variety of experiences. I wanted the super duper newcomer. I wanted the, like, predates the internet fan. Literally, because this series predates the internet. The series spans generations. And I wanted to be able to show that. So the way it's going to work is I'm going to start, there's going to be certain topics that I go over, which I'm going to copy back to them, so I have them up here. And then basically, we're going to talk. And it's going to be really fun. I'm going to ask you guys questions, probably questions that involve you raising or not raising your hand. Sometimes it'll be like I'm going to try to find someone who's had a certain experience and be like, talk about it. So you'll be put on the spot, which is awesome. Okay. So, where shall we begin? How about let's start at the beginning. So let's start with when you became a fan. So I want to try to find the longest standing fan in the room. So if you were a fan prior to, well, okay, did anyone read the first book when it first came out in 1983? You did. Wow. Congratulations, sir. Okay. And Kathy. And Kathy, you both did. Amazing. Okay. So I'll start with Kathy. How did you find?
We can start with you.
Okay. Okay. How did you find the first book?
In 1983, I had been for 7 years a librarian at the MIT Science Fiction Society.
Yeah, librarians unite.
And 83 was getting towards. There was a period of time where we got monthly shipments of all the science fiction books being published. In 83, this was no longer really possible, but nonetheless, as a librarian, one of my jobs was to read as close as we could approximate to everything that came in. So it was just one of the books that came in, and I read it, and I liked it a very great deal.
Yeah.
And recommended it to a lot of people who came in, which is part of my job there.
Totally. Awesome. Okay, and then you've, like, kept up with it for the entire rest of it, so that's awesome. So Kathy, how did yours compare?
University librarian, so it wasn't part of my job, but I was also writing young adult fantasy at that time, so like, let's go find all these other things. And I live in Minnesota nowadays. Uncle Hugo's science fiction bookstore. They were rated recommending books. They said, you want this one?
That's amazing. Okay, so I very quickly found old fans. So I want to find the newest fan. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
we
but
can beat you.
I don't think it counts the day I started reading. I had to like be fucked up by cars. Before I was like, okay, I'm
We
into
were
it.
all unprepared for that, though. Like,
But,
not
okay,
a
so
one
that
of
puts
us.
it at what? Like, what is it? When did I start reading these? I don't even fucking remember. So April? So did someone sue in April? No. What?
Yeah. Okay, when do you start?
When my daughter invited me here, but I kept giving off reading reading. I'm currently a little bit
Hey, there you go. Yeah.
Wait,
That's awesome.
even newer?
Probably, I started, well,
Well,
she turned me on to them. I started reading about a month ago. This is probably my
About a
first
month ago.
primary fandom experience.
All right, so as like
I
the
forced
super,
him to read
super
so that he
newcomers,
could come with me.
what do you think?
Welcome.
Are you liking it? Yeah. Are you liking the convention so far?
Almost, but I'm not.
I get that. That's fair. And you as well.
Great
Larry.
experience.
Yeah, you're liking it so far. You're gonna keep reading the books. Okay.
I'm
That's
stopping.
awesome.
I'm kidding.
Follow along, listening to him read it.
Yeah, for
That's where I
anyone who
love
like doesn't know, he like posts videos of him reading books. Like those are my audiobooks now. I can just like
What do bondage to them, apparently?
yeah. I've
What's that?
done all sorts of stuff. Like I've like slept to them. What was it? Don't even dare. I
That's
don't
a
know who
first.
made the invitation.
That's
You have a soothing voice.
Fall asleep to them? It's like an audiobook. You fall asleep reading and listening.
I guess because I don't listen to audiobooks ever. Like I can't do them because I need music to listen to when I'm writing. If I start listening to audiobooks while I'm writing, I start writing the audiobook. Which I discovered about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I got super into Welcome to Night Vale, and so there is a period of Mark Reads and Mark Watches reviews where there are full-on lines from Welcome to Night Vale that I didn't realize I put in there. So I'm finding them. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. I'm not insulted by you falling asleep. And that means I must have a soothing enough voice for you to fall asleep to.
I will admit half of it is themselves.
Ooh.
Like honestly, just like listening to the words is amazing. And it's hard sometimes too because I will be like, it's like this beautiful passage, whatever, I'll be like, drifting off to sleep. And then you'll get to something and you'll just like crack up laughing. And I'll like bolt up, I'll be like, oh my god. Never mind. But okay, so we have like a huge, like a three decade gap basically. I'm also curious, are there any second generation fans here? Is there anyone who got the series from their parents? You, yes.
Yes, my mom, who's not here at the moment, but
Yeah,
has
she's
told
coming.
me, she's coming.
Yeah.
She told me that she picked it up when it was first published. But I picked up her copy of So You Want to Be a Wizard from, I don't know, somewhere in the house when I was like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So 2003, 2004.
That's not the first time I've heard that kind of thing. Like that is
And it was
definitely
amazing.
a thing
It was an old copy. It was like, I think it was green, and it definitely had the Elvis and Rita and Kit. And
Yeah.
Elvis was cutting on his horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I read it, and it was amazing.
Yeah. I know, right?
And I read The Portrait, and it was amazing. And I read I Was Good, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I got into the forum when I think I saw the address for the Young Wizards website on the back of a Wizard's Still Up.
That is exactly how I joined it because at the back of some of the books they go like join the Young Wizards at youngwizards.net or whatever, and I was like, oh, I'm on the internet, that's cool. And so thank God for that because otherwise I never would have noticed it around here.
I was 10 maybe, and oh god, some of my posters still there.
No. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. So we've talked about like when you get into it. I know something common that I found is that people do not get into the series with the first book. A lot of people end up reading a book other than the first, which is like I cannot imagine doing anything like that. So does anybody have stories about that? Yeah. Oh, like a whole bunch of people. I'm scared now. You first.
Oh,
Go this way.
I got book 8 out of a box my uncle had it.
Oh no!
The text is also really tiny. I looked
Yeah.
for it after when I realized I'd have to tell people the story, and the text is really tiny at the front cover of the book, so it's impossible to tell.
Yeah. I know also if you're going to mention later books. Like, don't get too specific because you know Mark's only got it.
I do have these though.
So, you have warning to put them on.
The last piece, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we were going this way, so then you're next.
I got started when I saw the cover to the fourth book in the library display. I
Which
don't
cover
remember
was
whether
it?
it had just come out.
Which cover was it?
The weird one with the eye.
Yeah.
With the eye.
The one that's like kind of cartoony. No, it wasn't cartoony. It was like semi-realistic, like Dolly style.
Was it hardcover or soft
This is all
cover?
nonsense. I'm like, okay.
Both, I think.
Someone will look at something in the fourth. Yeah.
The original cover was like Nina crouching by its chalice, if I remember correctly.
It was her going like this in the air. Yeah, and there was like the Emerald City.
What? How?
All of those weird ass covers.
Okay.
There are some weird covers out there I've seen. I'm like, what?
Exactly. Go look at all the covers, especially for
Does someone have the super old 80s version ones that they just showed me earlier?
I
Oh, do you have them with you?
cover to the omnibus.
Because they're
Yes, I have that.
they're ridiculous. Like you look at them and the band Styx starts playing. Like,
Yeah.
come here, look at this. Okay, can someone just start playing REO Speedwagon?
We see yours as well, because those are the ones that always get me that are
Those are,
very.
I'm like, you're
Oh,
satisfied.
yeah.
That looks.
That one's my
All the ones that
I have glasses, that's right, that's right.
are the second series of covers.
No, that's not, that's the same
Current Games Wizard. The non-New Millennium Edition covers. All except so you want to do Wizard of the East.
It's funny because I've gotten just to the part where all of this makes sense. Like that.
On the inside, it just has sort of like all like characters and objects. This collage. I'll try to find it.
You finished
Yes,
book 3,
yes.
right?
No, I'm like almost done with it.
Okay, but you're like almost done. You're not like halfway. How far into book 3 are you?
She just got to the Silicon Planet and it came alive. So everything's fucked up. And then the
You
sun
might
is.
spoil other people.
God fucking. What is the irony of that?
But you did get
I mean,
things. Okay.
the crossings.
It has the
Yes,
eyes,
I know what
and
that
it
is.
has 3
Yes.
people in the front.
I am 3 people.
I have it
No, is
loaded.
it the one with the ship?
No.
Wait.
No. It has
Claudia.
Claudia.
So I saw this cover and I thought it was in Kelly and I read
It has the glass city in the background.
it.
I own that copy.
She owns it. Really?
Yeah, I got it from the library.
Oh God, yeah. I've seen that.
Oh yeah, Caitlin has that one too. Yeah, I don't think Mark can.
If we have talked about people who came into the series partway through,
Yeah.
can I talk about for a second how weird it is that such a huge fraction of this fandom actually found it by having So You Want to Be a Wizard catch their finger in a stack of books? Raise your hand if you were one of those people. It's a really weird phenomenon.
That was number 4 for me.
Yeah. College.
Yeah.
Speak.
Literally, the town I went to middle school and high school in was too small to actually have a library, so we had a bookmobile. And I would basically wait for them to show up, and then I'd literally race on the moment they opened the doors before they'd even remove the little shelves that like held the books on in place. And so I would help by like removing the shelves. So there's me, like my first year in middle school. I'd run over from middle school to where Parfait Elementary School. I'm pulling down the shelves, and then a book falls on my head. No, it was book 4. And then I wind up reading them in like a weird order based on what the library had in. So I actually read them, book 4, then book 2, then book 3, and then book 1.
And then it all made sense, didn't it?
Yeah, and then I was able to get, and then I was able to, then that was around the time 5 came out. out and everything like that from then on. But it literally fell on my head, and the librarian was so very surprised. She was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I gotta see what this book is."
I mean, it's gotta get your attention somehow.
I guess.
Yeah,
Awesome.
exactly.
Well, it's basically directly influenced what I'm getting my doctorate in, so maybe it was a sign.
Exactly. Okay, we had some more stories. Ron, I think you had your family.
Yeah. Okay, so I went to middle school in Georgia and read everything. But like, you know how you'll see a book a lot and slowly the idea of reading it will start to grow on you. So I've always seen this book and like I always read the inside like cover of books to like see what they're about. And it's like, what on earth is a transcendent pig? And so
I'm never going to remember that.
Well, technically it's mentioned in book
it is mentioned in the book.
So there you go.
So I just pick up book 5 and I read it, and I was like, okay. But I'll try the rest of these. And so one summer I just bought them all, and here I am.
Okay, that's really cool. There's like more people who are going to say something.
How I found it is, I read the books as a kid. I read the original cover editions, but my dad had found the first book at a library bookstore where they were selling off like the discarded books. So he just saw it, brought it home, and that's how I got it. So I actually have like the hardcover library bound edition with the core numbers and everything. And it's just so perfect because of how it's in the first book.
I love that so many people found it through the library, or else found it like secondhand stores or whatever. I think that's really cool. So when?
Yeah, so I also found the first book while like soaring through secondhand bookstores, and where I sort of like I tilt my head sideways and then run my finger down so I can tell which one I'm at because I read a lot of them. I snagged on the first book. I looked at it. It looked like too adult and scary, so I put it back and forgot about it. I don't know why I even bought them. I guess it stuck in my mind long enough that I ordered a copy.
It's because it knew that you
Yeah. On the second generation thing, I had kind of the reverse way. I read them and I like bothered my mother about it consistently for at least 2 years. And then she really loved them but did not read them anymore. My ex-girlfriend, however, had them recommended to her by her mother. Her mother is on Wizard of Mars. I tried to get her to read Game of the Play. She will only accept audiobooks.
It's coming. People on this side, there are people. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the first 3 books given to me as a present by family friends, and I read the first book and didn't really understand what was going on because I was kind of at a point in my life where I could sort of understand it, but not really. And so I kind of left them alone. And then I found book 7 in a store and read that and was like, wait, I'm missing some major things. And then I went back.
Okay, and then,
Redhead little sister picked up her sister's copy and sort of flipped through it a little bit, but didn't really get what was, didn't really seem it was that much special, and then a couple of years later picked it up again and was like, ah.
Obviously, you're actually reading.
That's amazing.
I also started with book 7 actually, because that just happened to be, it happened to be what I had found at my local library. Was just like this book and looked interesting. Read it. It was fortunately not the worst possible jumping on point in the series, but it did retroactively spoil me for a few fairly major developments.
Yeah.
So then,
What do you think's the worst?
What is the
We
worst?
can't.
Spoilers.
I don't want to imply anything further, just that there would have been worse places to start than book 7, but then like a couple of weeks later, it's like, okay, I gotta find more of the series, not sure how exactly to track them down because they're, a little on the older side. Was at my local half-price books and found literally books 1 through 8 were all like deep discounted, so I literally just like pulled them all together. Okay, here we go.
So at the time, my best friend, super conservative Christian parents who won't let us read anything. I wasn't allowed to watch Dragon Tales. It was too magical. So my friend and I were walking the library, and she looked at me and she was like, "Oh, I read that book. It was pretty good." And then she just left. And like weeks later, I was sitting there just bored and like running my hands along the shelves. And my hand stopped, and I looked over and I was like, "Yeah, she mentioned this one. I remember it. I could read it." And then I picked up the audiobook because I'm lazy. And I listened to the entire audiobook in one night and returned it the next morning and walked up to the paper copy I had, like my hand had stopped on, and realized that the cover was completely falling apart. And I walked up to the librarian and was like, "Look, you can't fix this book. It was completely torn up." It was the cover with the fire hydrant. And I was like, so, is there any way that I could have this book? And she looked at it, and she looked at me, and she was like, 25 cents. And I carried it with me everywhere for like 4 years.
Beautiful.
And then,
okay, I want to hear from the panelists more. I think I did that for a reason. So I want to hear specifically for each of you. I'm going to start with the farmer. How did you find this series?
I got mine through the Science Fiction Book Club.
Right. Okay.
It
Yeah.
was the first 3 books all bound together in a
Support your local wizard.
Support Your Local Wizard. And it's got Kid Nita doing spell diagrams in the
That
air.
cover is so 80s. Great hair and everything. Mark, I might have to show you the cover. Does anyone have Support Your Local Wizard by any chance?
I have the picture of the cover saved for kids.
Perfect.
Showing it to people.
Come show it to Mark because he needs to see it.
Look at this. It's like the 80s called, they want their sci-fi back.
yeah, look at her
Is that
hair.
the original name of the book?
No, that's the omnibus.
Bound together.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, so it was deep, so you want to be a wizard, deep wizard,
Look at those
high
high-waisted
wizardry,
pants. That's
and,
Yeah.
yeah, support your local wizard.
cute. That's awesome.
Oh no, wait, like oh my god. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna here's a packet. How did you
No, you can only look when it first starts time, and then when it starts over.
Yeah.
Yes, I came across it as an adult, because that's what I was when it came out. So.
Yeah.
So I knew it existed starting in 2013. So I went on this really long tour in 2013, which find me later, and I will tell you the story of how this tour started because it's the worst convention of all time. It's a real fun story. It involves the game Gladiator at 3 in the morning. So, okay, there you go. And so on that tour is when I first started having people be like, why aren't you reading the Young Wizards books? And I was like, I don't know what those are. I didn't, like, my Diane Duane. I'm like, that didn't help. Like, I don't know. It was just one of those things as I did more and more events and started going to conventions more, I kept hearing it like, you need to be reading these books, you're missing out. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because, the part of the difficulty is you can't tell me what they're about.
Nope.
So people are like, just read them. Please read them like that. Yeah. So in 2014, I had an event in Sacramento, and Holland and Hannah, who is not in here currently, that was where they presented the idea of CrossingsCon. And I privately, I believe I had not publicly said I was reading it yet.
Yeah, you said that you would agree as long as we let you make the announcement. And then we gave you the bread.
Yeah, we gave you the bread.
Yes. Well, we gave you
I had that thing